This PC is playing Valorant at an insanely fast 1000 frames per second, but because YouTube can only run at 60 FPS, you can't see that yet. Here's a better way to see what's happening. And while you watch me regret agreeing to this video, you can see the gameplay behind me still looks smooth. But how does this compare to lower frame rates? And how can you even display 1000 FPS? And more importantly, does this even matter to your gameplay? We're gonna answer all of those questions using Valorant, science, and a slow motion camera we paid too much money to rent. But let's start with the history lesson. 20 years ago, monitors looked like this, FPS looked like this, and I looked like this. You would come home, load up a game, and play at a buttery smooth 33 FPS. 37 if you're looking directly at the ground. It's not until a few years later that you go to your friend's house where he has a new Alienware Area 51 desktop that can run the game at over 60 FPS. You're amazed by how smooth it looks, and also how cool Rob Dyrdek is because it's 2007. Fast forward about 8 years, and modern PCs start advertising 144 FPS gaming. You load in and it's pretty, but you start to wonder, does this even make a difference? You look online and people are saying things like, the human eye can only see 60 FPS, and anything over 30 looks exactly the same. And anybody know what Rob Dyrdek's up to? Time keeps speeding by and we're here today with the modern Alienware Area 51, which can play games at over 1000 FPS. Now more than ever, you're wondering how much better is this than your old PC? And also, how does this even work? You've probably heard people measure monitor performance in hertz before. Hertz is just a unit of measurement for refresh rate, or how many times the monitor refreshes the image on your screen in a second. The higher the hertz, the more refreshes you get in that second, meaning the more frames your eyes see. 60 hertz is 60 times a second, while 144 is 144 times a second. It's also for information. If you play games at 60 FPS, that means you get 2.5 times less information fed to your eyeballs. Take a look at this jet dash we slowed down. In the 60 hertz version, it starts and finishes in just 31 frames. But at 144 hertz, we get 74 frames of movement, meaning we have more info on where she is and where to aim. It's always the same half second of dashing, but there's more info available. Kind of like a sandwich. Whatever you put in it is always between two slices of bread, but one has 60 layers while the other has 144. Which one would you want? This is a lot grosser than I thought it would be. But that's not all. Just because your monitor is refreshing the image 144 times a second doesn't mean it's always displaying the game at 144 frames per second. Say your 144 hertz monitor goes to refresh to the next frame, but your PC isn't fast enough to render the game at 144 hertz. It'll just repeat the frame almost as if it was playing at 60 hertz. So your monitor might be 144, 240, or even 360 hertz, but if your PC can't keep up, your eyeballs won't see a difference. Can we get these offset, please? But this wouldn't be a YouTube video without spending a bunch of money to prove our point. So we rented this. This is a FreeFly Ember, capable of shooting video at over 1000 FPS. That means we can do important things like this. But how? Where a normal camera can film 60 frames in 1 second, this can capture 1000. Meaning, if we take our 1 second clip into an editing software and slow it down so that it's 16 seconds long, it'll still look smooth, while the 60 FPS clip will be forced to repeat frames to fill the new 16-second time frame. And that's perfect for us, because 1000 FPS is what our new Area 51 with an AMD processor can run your favorite esports titles at. So we're gonna use it to capture some gameplay tests at 60, 240, and 1000 FPS to see if there's any performance difference between the different frame rates. It's important to specify that we're looking at human performance playing the game, because if we just take the high-speed camera and film the screen at 1000 frames per second, the difference is incredibly noticeable. There's just simply more visual info in the higher FPS screen. More frames, more refreshes, more information, smoother gameplay. But what does that mean to the human eye? We're not the first people to do this. In fact, Linus Tech Tips did this 6 years ago. But there's two problems. Tech has progressed way past the 240 hertz monitor they used, and no disrespect, Linus is a self-described casual player.
Representing the filthy casuals, we've got yours truly.
So we're repeating the test with higher frame rate gameplay, and me. I don't want to brag, but the director thought it was important for me to do the test for these reasons. Basically, I probably have a much more consistent level of performance, meaning less random results. Our gameplay test will be simple. We're going to have a jet dash across our screen. The goal will be to react and kill the jet as fast as possible, all while the high-speed camera captures everything. In slow motion, we'll be able to track 3 things: 1, how quickly I'm able to react to the jet appearing on my screen. 2, how quickly I'm able to get my crosshair onto the jet. And 3, how quickly I'm able to kill the jet. We're gonna repeat that over and over, first starting at 60 FPS, then at 240, then our max frame rate. When we compare the 3 varying refresh rates, we should see pretty definitively if there's a measurable difference in time to kill and accuracy as the frame rate goes up, aka if higher FPS means more better. By the way, even though the new A51 with an AMD processor can run Valorant at 1000 FPS without any issues, modern monitor technology only goes up to about 500. So for the sake of our testing, we'll be going with 500 Hz as our upper limit, because physics. Also, that means when we do get 1000 Hz monitors, you'll be future-proof. It's been a long time since I've used 60 Hz. It feels very laggy, I'm not gonna lie. Even just like moving my mouse around is like pretty rough. I feel like I'm spraying, I'm forced to. Ooh, that was good, I felt good on that. But yeah, I still feel like I'm spraying because of low FPS. 60 Hz, I feel the lag. I feel like my mouse is sluggish. Instead of like tracking and like flicking the tap, I'm like spraying just because I'm not sure exactly where my crosshair is gonna land. I feel like I'm at a disadvantage here compared to what I'm used to. Oh my God, it feels so smooth now. Wow, this is so much better already, okay. All right. It feels way smoother. Ooh, that was good, That was before you landed. Yeah, I feel like I'm probably reacting faster right now, but the time to kill might be similar. I feel like the picture of the jet dashing out of A main is much clearer, and I feel like then it's easier to like take my time and like tap on the head versus how like I wasn't as confident and I was like spraying and trying to track the jet dashing out like wherever I landed. All right, we're on 500 Hz. Let's try this out now. Yeah, this already feels so much faster. I'm ready to Q ranked. That was a short dash. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be way faster than 240. That felt really nice, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that was my fastest shot too. 500 Hz felt way smoother. It's closer to what I'm used to too. It's not that 240 Hz isn't smooth, but 500 Hz, I feel like when there's like fast movements, the image is just like so much more clear. Odds are, I probably reacted faster, but I also think it's more about precision at that level than like reacting faster. I think like even 240 Hz is pretty quick. And so maybe the improvement in like reaction time is minuscule, but I think that I was probably shooting more precisely. At the end of the day, this all makes sense. More information makes it easier to line things up and execute them at the right time, whether it's lining up crosshairs on jet or trying to grab a Nerf dart out of the air. In both cases, more info helps. At 1000 FPS, it makes it easy to line up my hand and grab the dart because I always know where it is. But at 60 FPS over the same time, there are these big info gaps on where the dart is half the time. I'd never be able to grab it. And before you write in the comments, hey, this still doesn't matter because your eyes and brain can't process it, just think about it. Our eyes were designed to see infinity frames per second in real life. Just because our brains average it together doesn't mean you can't see it. A quick test is to go to your PC and wiggle the cursor quickly. Even at 144 FPS, you'll see gaps in the motion. Then take a printed out cursor, go outside, and wiggle it. Boom, no gaps. Our brains can see when there's a gap in visual information, and increasing the frame rate you're playing at gives the info that might be the difference between hitting your shot and not. So is it worth it? Maybe. It depends on who you are. If you're competitive and care about having the best, probably. If you just want to play indie games with your friends, probably not. But definitively, it does make a measurable difference. So take that, Mega Man 2943. If you're chasing maximum FPS performance, then go check out the Alienware Air 51 with the latest AMD Ryzen CPUs. Can you get this away from me?